What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in the United States, Washington, D.C., money, investing, and the next stimulus package, which was announced at $3.5 trillion. But Senator Joe Manchin is threatening to drastically reduce the size of that stimulus package. I'm going to give you the latest updates of that, as well as new details that are now coming out regarding that stimulus package and new tax increases on how they're going to pay for that stimulus package. And new details is coming out on the next stimulus package here pretty much every single day at this point, as we're in the final stages from the House and the Senate, and from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Bernie Sanders, who's in charge of the stimulus package, as well as Senator Joe Manchin, who is threatening to upend this entire stimulus package. And I'm going to be giving you new details in this video. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I will keep you up to date with the next stimulus package, as well as what is going on in our country. New videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below, and let's jump right in. Congresswoman AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made quite a statement last night for wearing a dress to the Met Gala that wore a dress that said, "Tax the rich." Check this dress out. Yeah, so here is the dress. You can see it says "Tax the rich" right here on her dress. Wow, what a statement. And apparently that is exactly what the Democrats are going to be doing with this next stimulus package. Remember, this next stimulus package is going to be what they say fully paid for. And one senator says, actually a new senator says, it better be fully paid for or else they're not going to have his vote either. Check this out. Senator John Tester said yesterday that 100% of this package better be paid for or they're not going to get his vote. Senator John Tester, a Democrat from Montana, a moderate, on Monday joined Maverick, that's an interesting word for Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, in calling for fellow Democrats to pay for all of the massive human infrastructure spending bill as they're drafting behind closed doors. Senator John Tester told reporters outside the Capitol that he wants 100% of the bill, which Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer plans to pass under the budget reconciliation process, to be paid for. That means Democrats will need to come up with at least another $600 billion in offsets if they are to meet their $3.5 trillion spending goal to meet John Tester's vote. Quote, "I'm going to be looking at a couple things, where the money is going to be coming from, how it's being raised, and then how it's being utilized moving forward. We have a lot of work to do," says John Tester. And well, that's exactly what the Democrats plan to do with a series of raises on corporations that make millions of dollars and wealthy individuals making over $400,000 to pay for this package. Check this out. House Democrats yesterday released tax increase legislation that scales back some of President Biden's key proposals as they work to craft a massive social spending package that they can get the votes on to become law. The bill text released Monday by the House Ways and Means Committee introduces a variety of tax increases targeted at wealthy individuals and corporations in an effort to help pay for the $3.5 trillion stimulus package in spending and tax cuts in areas such as childcare, climate, and healthcare. But in many ways, it's not as aggressive in raising taxes as Biden has proposed, prompting criticism from progressive groups. Quote, "They have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to address the egregious, unfair treatment that the wealthy get in the tax code, and the committee has refused to do it," says Erica Payne, president and founder of the Patriotic Millionaires. There are several areas where the House Democrats' proposal does not go as far in increasing taxes on corporations and the rich, and as Biden has proposed earlier this year. And I'll tell you one reason why. I can already figure it out. The House Ways and Means Committee would raise the corporate tax rate for income above $5 million for corporations from 21% to 26.5%, while Biden has called for raising it to 28%. So Biden called to raise the corporate tax rate to 28% for companies that make over $5 million. So small corporations, small businesses, mom and pop corporations would not get a tax raise here, which is pretty good. So small mom and pop corporations that make less than $5 million would not see a tax rate here, a tax raise here. I think that's pretty awesome. But the proposal right now is to raise it from 21% to 26.5%, as you can see here, instead of 28%, is only a 1.5% difference. But I have a pretty good idea on why they're doing this. Now, remember that in 2017, former President Donald Trump, with the reconciliation card, when the Republicans controlled the House, the Senate, and the presidency, with the reconciliation card, they passed the 2017 Trump tax cuts without any Democratic votes. They lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% all the way down to 21%. Now, Democrats want to raise it up to 28%, or maybe now 26.5%, which is still not nearly as high as it used to be when the Republicans lowered it from 35% all the way down to 21%. The problem is we have Senator Joe Manchin and maybe some other moderates that don't want to go as high as 28%. So this is one of the bargaining chips. This is part of the negotiation. If you've been listening, I always say the negotiation part is the most important part because you need everybody to agree. If you don't get all the senators in the Senate to agree, all the Democratic senators, remember, not a single Republican is going to vote for this. If you had Republicans voting for this and you were able to get some Republicans to say yes, it would be a little bit easier here. But not a single Republican is going to vote yes on this. Not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package. So, alas, it is what it is. So you're not going to get any Republican votes, and you need 99% of the Democrats from the House. So the negotiation part is the most important part. So remember, we have Senator Joe Manchin who says he wants a 25% corporate tax rate. Well, a lot of the other Democrats want 28%. So you're going to have to make Joe Manchin happy and some of the other moderate Democrats in one way or another. So this is one way to make him happy. And then they haven't gone all the way down to the 25%, but this is the art of the negotiation. So instead of 28%, 25%, that's a 3% difference. They literally went right in the middle at 26.5%. So the art of negotiation, meet in the middle, 26.5%. That might make Joe Manchin happy. The problem with this is that when you lower the tax rate from the proposed 28%, I mean, these are all proposals here, but eventually they're going to settle on a number here. The 28% tax rate would have brought in more tax revenue, which again, we have senators saying, Democratic senators saying that they want 100% of the proposal to be paid for, which is a stark contrast from all the spending that we've had in past years, both Democratic and Republican. And I'm not picking sides here, either Republican or Democrat, because both sides have just spent egregiously. I mean, former President Donald Trump added over $8 trillion to the deficit in just 4 years. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's just what he added. $3.3 trillion of it was the 2 stimulus packages there. So you could say, yeah, the pandemic had a lot to do with it. Current President Biden added almost $2 trillion with just the 3rd stimulus check package alone. But even the Fed says we're in a pandemic here. If you worry about the debt during a pandemic, your economy is going to crumble. If you worry about not helping out the people during a pandemic, your economy is going to crumble and your society is going to crumble. Your people are going to crumble. So is now the time to be worrying about the debt during a pandemic? Or should you be worrying about helping your people during a pandemic? I mean, you can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I know the answer. The answer is to help your people and to help the economy, to keep the economy afloat. The stock market's doing well because the stock market is a forward-looking thing. Stocks are doing really, really well right now because the stocks are looking forward, saying, "Hey, the pandemic's behind us," because the stock market is forward-looking. It's saying, "Hey, pandemic is behind us," because stocks are just there's no other way to say it, but stocks are forward-looking. They're always thinking of the future. So the stocks, even though positive cases are terrible right now, and in some ways, mask mandates are coming back, vaccine mandates are coming in, and in some ways, the pandemic is doing worse than ever. The stock market thinks, hey, all this stuff is behind us because the stock markets are always forward looking. Okay. So if anything, the stock market thinks, oh, well, the worst is behind us. But in some ways, the economy is doing terrible. I mean, unemployment is very, very shaky. Some months it's actually doing worse. The jobs market, even though there's all these jobs available, people are quitting their jobs in record numbers because of the pandemic. People are scared to go back to their jobs, and companies, Amazon, Walmart, Chipotle, all these major national companies are literally having to raise their wages to $15 an hour, stratospheric numbers than just compared to a few years ago, because they can't hire people, because they're literally struggling to hire people because of a worker shortage, because of everything combined, all these factors combined. you know the job market and the economy, and you combine all these factors together with a pandemic, and it's just it's a really tough economy. It's a really tough economy. And you combine that with the whole atmosphere and the pandemic. It's just everything's out of control right now, man. Everything is out of control, and unemployment is really not getting better. I mean, the unemployment bonus is now completely gone, and last month the unemployment only went up by 0.2%. It literally went up like the tiniest amount. And that was with 25 states already getting rid of the unemployment bonuses. All the Republican states have already gotten rid of the unemployment. You would think unemployment would shoot up, that everybody would go back to work. And that's not what happened. In fact, the jobs numbers only created 235,000 jobs for the whole country. And jobs numbers are actually going down like this. Like, we were supposed to create 1 million jobs in June and July and August, and they missed their target, and then they missed their target, and then in August we only created 235,000 jobs. And as we've missed, and if we miss again in September, we're actually going to create negative jobs if the trend continues the way it's going. And that's with unemployment bonuses gone. So there's no more incentives for people to not go back to work. Like the unemployment bonus money, like the incentive money, isn't even there anymore. And they still can't get people to go back to work. It's because the economy is terrible. The pandemic is terrible. And all these different factors are there. And these employers are giving people the highest wages they've ever been giving. I mean, all these companies are like at $15 an hour minimum wages now, for their own like minimum starting wages, and they're still struggling to hire people. And that's why this next stimulus package and this next infrastructure package is really, really needed for our economy. And a lot of different stimulus items really need to be added into this package when all is said and done, to really help out our struggling economy. And a fourth stimulus check really need to be added in there. And the child tax credits, which are really kind of at stake right now, because if they cut this package in half, the child tax credits being extended are really in jeopardy as well, because that takes up a huge portion of the bill. They want to extend the monthly payments, the monthly checks for children, $250 to $300 per month for 65 million children. But that's over $1 trillion of the money. And if Joe Manchin only wants to spend $1.5 trillion, well, there might not even be enough money for that. Yeah. And that why the tax raises and paying for this bill is a big part of this bill. So yeah, so they want to raise the corporate tax rate for companies making over $5 million to 26.5%, which may make Senator Joe Manchin happy. The committee also called for raising the top capital gains tax rate, which is for long-term like stock gains, when you hold your stocks for over a year and you have a capital gain rate, from 20% to 25%. Biden originally proposed raising it to the top tax rate, which is currently 37%. Biden also wants to raise that. Where is that? That's down here. Biden also wants to raise the top individual tax rate from 37% to 39.6%. So that is staying the same. But they also added a new tax in here as well, which has never been heard of before. The House Ways and Means Committee does this and would also impose a new 3% surtax on individuals with income above $5 million. So for individuals with income above $5 million, they would now pay 39.6% federal and 3% on top of that. So their federal income tax rate would be 42.6% just for federal taxes. Then they would have state taxes on top of that, Social Security taxes on top of that, and other taxes like that. So they would probably be in the 60% plus tax range, maybe even higher when you add up all your different taxes like Social Security tax, state tax, sales tax, property tax, different stuff like that. They could be in the 60 to 70% tax range. I mean, for example, California alone has a state tax of 13.3% alone when you're in the top tax bracket in California. So when you look at a 42% tax bracket for the top tax bracket and then 13% for the state, you're already at 55% taxes. And then you have Social Security taxes on there, property taxes. You're giving 70% of your income to the government. And yeah, it gets a little bit insane when you're up in those tax brackets. But I know most people don't really care about people making that much money. But when you start giving 70% of your taxes to the government, it's just like, whoa, yeah, the government's making more than you are. Yeah. Both Biden and the House Ways and Means Committee also proposed with the IRS an additional $80 billion to strengthen tax enforcement and update technology with the IRS. White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre called the legislation a first step. She said it advances Biden goals of cutting taxes for families. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that. Repealing former President Donald Trump's tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations. By that, they mean raising the taxes on corporations. A lot of people are saying that this will repeal taxes on the small and middle class. I haven't seen anything of that yet. We'll have to see. I will report on this if I see anything like that. And not raising taxes on families making under $400,000. So again, there are some Republicans saying that by repealing the 2017 Trump tax cuts, I don't know if they're repealing everything from the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Again, I'm not from either side, so if I see anything along those lines, I will definitely report on it. What I think they're repealing, from what I've seen so far, again, I'd like to show you guys this in black and white so you guys know that it's true, what I see there. What I see that they're repealing is the corporate tax rate that was originally 35%, went down to 21%. Now they want to raise from 21% up to 26.5%. They're raising the individual top tax bracket from 37% to 39.6 or 39.7. They want to raise the capital gain long-term tax rate from 20% to 25%, the top tax bracket there, and then extra 3% on people making over $5 million. A couple different things there. So there will be more pieces and parts to this. I haven't seen anything that will raise taxes on people on low and middle incomes. If I see anything, I will definitely report on it. There is one more thing, the one change the Democrats are planning to make, and because this is some Democrats are demanding that this be in there, they won't vote for it, to the bill, is to add some type of change to the $10,000 cap on the state and local tax deduction known as the SALT tax, a limit that is strongly disliked by many lawmakers in high tax states such as New York, New Jersey, and California. But undoing the SALT cap is expensive, so lawmakers may need to find ways to raise additional revenue to offset the cost of any changes to the deduction limit. Or they may raise the cap limit to maybe $100,000 or something along those lines. This has some criticism because they say that it is a uh, it is a potential tax deduction for wealthy too, for millionaires, that they could get a deduction on this as well. But a lot of middle income people, they pay high taxes in states like this, but they don't get to deduct that on their taxes. So they might pay more than $10,000 in state and local taxes, but they don't get to deduct it on their taxes, even though they paid that in their taxes. Quote, if the intent to add state and local tax relief into this package, they're clearly going to need to raise a lot more revenue because they surely can't cut the investments, said Frank Clementine, executive director of the Progressive Group of Americans for Tax Fairness. Yeah, so we're getting a lot of details on how they're going to pay for this package. We have a lot of moderate Democrats demanding that the package be fully paid for. And this is where we're going to get a lot of the nitty gritty here. And Senator Joe Manchin is going to really be a stickler here, along with, we got, some other moderate, other Democrats that are going to be sticklers on the details here. But ultimately, they're going to, in the end, have to make all these Democrats happy. And that's where the devil's going to be in the details, right? Because at the end, every single Democrat in the Senate has to say yes, and 99% of the Democrats in the House has to say yes. And we've had a lot of flurrying over throwing in additional stimulus items. We've had a lot of talks over throwing in a $1,400 stimulus check. We've had a lot of talks over throwing in a $1,000 cash voucher for seniors to pay for Medicare benefits. We've had a lot of talks over the extending the child tax credits, those monthly checks for 65 million children, because those end at the end of this year. We've had a lot of talks over all sorts of different stimulus items for this package. I do think there's going to be a lot of different stimulus items. We've had a lot of flurrying items over that and what will be in this package. So don't miss any episodes at this point, because we're really getting a lot of details of how they're going to be paid for, what the tax raises are, what's going to be in this package, and the negotiations. And a lot of the progressive Democrats are demanding that these items be in here, while a lot of the moderates are like, well, we want a smaller package. We don't know, Senator Joe Manchin, right? So, this is where we're really getting into the fine details. So I will keep you up to date with everything going on with this next stimulus package, as well as what is going on in our country. So make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is about stimulus checks and stimulus provisions that are being proposed to be in this next package. And this video is our new family channel called Julian's Adventures with my son Julian, our newest episode of that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.